Well, welcome back to Spa, everybody. We are here for qualifying 2 of the International GT Open. It's GT Open 500 weekend this time around, and we're looking forward to our next batch of drivers making their way out onto the track in order to then try and position themselves the best average lap time across the board in order to then be in with a chance of obtaining pole position. We did, of course, see some red flags earlier on in the morning session with Rolf and Eichen unfortunately barreling into the barriers and therefore bringing out the red flag. The marshal spent a good hour trying to repair the damage to the barriers, but in the end of it all, we managed to come to the end of qualifying 1, and it was Marcos Seibert who would go on to take the top time in qualifying 1. And heading through towards qualifying 2 this time around, it's now the turn of Diego Menchaca to get behind the wheel in order to see if the Motorpark team can get themselves underway. But now here with 28 and 50 to go in Q2 here in the session, it's now driver changeover time. We've got Alessio Picciarello with Timo Rumpf, Thomas Eichen, Prince, His Royal Highness Prince Jeffrey Ibrahim, as well as Giorgio Sinigiotto, Nicola Marinangeli, Dimitri Gavazva, and then of course we do have Alex Fontana, Tymon van der Helm, Conrad Grumwald, Nico Menzel, as well as Lewis Proctor, Mikael Pitamba, Ernst Kirkmeyer, Alan Coder, Jim Pla, Lucas Dunner, as well as Christopher Haas, Jamie Stanley, Brendan Leach, as well as Yannick Mettler, Matisse Liesmont, as well as Gino Forchioni. Round out the whole order. So you can now see they're fighting over for that track space right now in order to get themselves in the right position to put them on the put themselves on the fastest, well, to put them in the right position for qualifying. So we're back here now, folks. Do apologise. We've had some technical fun here in the commentary box. Both me and Ewan Dunlap gave each other the wrong headphones. It's a good start, isn't it, Ewan?
And I was playing with the volumes and affecting yours. we're sorted now, I think.
I apologise.
We had some technical help as well.
If you were in the commentary box with us, you would have laughed your head off, I can assure you of that. We were there looking at each other.
Can you hear okay now?
I can hear very well. I couldn't hear anything before. I do hope the folks at home were able to hear what was going on. But yes, as I was saying, welcome back to the International GT Open, everybody. Qualifying 2 about to get underway, and the times are coming through this time around as well. Remember the first session, as I said, it was Marcos Seibert who went fastest after the red flag came to an end after the crash that involved Rolf and Eichen and his Team Oregon Lamborghini Huracan GT3. And obviously, glad to see that Rolf and Eichen is absolutely fine. Walked away from the incident, though the Tech Pro barrier needed to be repaired. Approximately an hour of work was carried out, well, 45 minutes more, so the marshals did a stellar job in putting it back together. But we are now back, and this time it's qualifying 2. The drivers now swap over, and it's now time for them to register their fastest laps, and then the average lap time between both the lap times that was set this morning in qualifying 1 and qualifying 2 will be put together. The fastest average time will be on pole ahead of the race coming up tomorrow.
Now, hoping somehow we're going to see on all of our... We've got loads of data here in the commentary box, and some of it, I hope we're going to find out what those combined times and the averages are. Otherwise, we'll get them to you as soon as possible, even if we have to use a couple of scientific calculators in here. We're just getting to grips with some fastest times first of all. What we didn't see the best of earlier in the session was Simon Riker and Christopher Haas. Their car number 1. They did win race 2 at Hockenheim with a formidable, to say the least, performance, but didn't get everything out of the car earlier on this afternoon and this morning. So maybe a bit more to come from then Haas in the car right now. So we are going to start getting some times coming in. First one is set is Alessio Picciarello at 2:18.713. No, it's a 2:17.324, forgive me. And how quick are we going to go, George? 2:15, 2:16, where are we going?
Well, who knows? I mean, given the fact that we saw some fast times being put together. The track, of course, drying through the course of the day. I would now say that we're in better conditions now than when we were for qualifying one, no doubt, especially after we've just had the Euro Formula Open Championship as well, usher in some extra rubber on the track alike. We're seeing now more fast times coming through as we speak as well, so there's still avenues for every driver out there right now. 2:17, 3:24, as you so rightly say, Alessio Picciarello with that top time. The averages are coming through on our screens as well, folks, not necessarily on yours, but we can see them at 2:18.713 for Alessio Picciarello, but further down, Mikel Pitamba at 2:18.278. Overall right now, based on the times that have come through, it will be Pitamba and Dominic Baumann who are on pole.
Yeah, this is going to be fascinating watching this, and I know you can't see this at home. We will keep you updated with the average times as best as we possibly can, because on your screen, when you see the order, that will not necessarily be the grid order. There's a chance it could be, absolutely. They set some blistering times, but we'll keep you up to speed. But yeah, right now, Michael Pitamba and his teammate going to be on pole as things stand. There's a long, long way to go, George.
It certainly is, yes. We've got the small matter of 23.5 minutes of action to be had. Christopher Haase, who we're currently seeing on screen for his Stellent Audi, back again with the Audi R8 LMS GT3, coming through the Lecom section, now in towards Malmedy. He's currently second fastest on the board, but despite setting that 2:18.131, his overall average lap time, including that of his teammate Simon Riker, at 2:19.408. In comparison to our current P1 sitter Alessio Picciarello, who set at 2:17.324, his average at 2:18.713. Brendan Leach goes into third as well, sets a 2:18.207. We then have Fabian Schiller announcing his arrival as well, fourth fastest. Michael Grenier now goes second. Of course, Alphonse Zuber qualified in the earlier runs of qualifying this morning, and their average lap time has worked out to a 2:17.728.
So that, as it stands, puts the car number 77 on pole position. So Alzubair and Grenier, they are only racing Portimao, first races of the season, today and this weekend in Spa and Barcelona. So they, car 77, not in the championship for winning, but they can absolutely, and they have done already this season, in it for winning races. That's the Get Speed Mercedes.
Yeah, absolutely. And Alessio Picciarello now in the car, and in the 80 Porsche, the Porsche number 80, as it comes through Malmedy. Top of the timing screen right now with that impressive 2:17.113. Track deletions already in force with car 95. That's, of course, this time belonging to Thomas Eichen, part of the Motor Park team, seeing his time deleted at turn 4. He's not the only one, though. Car number 61 having his time deleted likes. That's Konrad Grunwald as part of the Pro-Am batch that we've got in Spa. But here we have Michael Grenier also improving out on track. We're currently he's making his way through towards the Lafayette chicane in the Mercedes AMG GT3 from our racing by Get Speed. Marzio Moretti now also in the car for Oregon. Now, whilst they did lose a driver, Rolf and Eichen, earlier on due to that crash in the initial stages of qualifying, Oregon weren't that bad come towards the very end. Their other drivers, I mean, of course, we've got in this session Marzio Moretti stepping up, sixth fastest right now, and I must say the average time isn't bad either, 2:17.934.
Now, to show you an example of how wild this is going to be, and I don't want to say complicated, we'll simplify it as best we can, but as you've said already, Michael Pitamba and his teammate Dominic Baumann, so it's Pitamba right now, he's 14th in this session, but they are third overall once you combine Baumann's time.
Yeah, there you go. At the end of the day, I mean, if Pitamba brings out a big lap now and qualifies, say, in the top 5, there's a great chance he's going to be on pole at this rate. But obviously, it's still too early to tell. 20 minutes and 40 still to run, as we now witness the number 6 Mercedes AMG of Aaron Walker. And Get Speed is so well armed this season. We've got such a decent lineup across all classes, and I've got a great chance to once again persevere and get the big results alike. We've got more Mercedes representation with Yannick Mettler now at the wheel. We saw Dexter Muller out in the initial session of qualifying, and having Mettler, a vastly experienced GT3 racer behind the wheel, someone who is so used to success in GT3 championships and the like. They're going to be looking for some further grandeur this time around. I mean, he in his own right, a 9-hour Kyle Army winner, Pro-Am in 2023, Dubai 24 Hours TCR winner in 2023 as well, and 6 24-hour race wins overall. And Marzio Moretti just extending a little bit over the gravel, purple in the first sector, but no doubt he's lost time heading through sector 3. He's got a personal best in sector 2, but I think he might have lost more time.
Absolutely, and just elsewhere, third right now, Christopher Haas in the car number 1, current reigning teams champions. This was more like the performance we were expecting from that Audi RA LMS Evo 2. He is the platinum driver of that pairing. Simon Reichert, a silver driver in his own right in that pro pairing. But that is the kind of speed, currently at a 2:18.131. That's what we expected, and a little bit more maybe out of this number 1 car.
Yeah, absolutely right. Number 19, Marzio Moretti, saw bumped into him this morning, and can't wait to get stuck into this session, no doubt. Someone who has been successful as well, competing in Super Trofeo in the past. Now back again, this time for Team Oregon. He's been part of the team now for quite a bit of time. Was also part of the Ultimate Cup Challenge in Proto P4 class, was champion back in 2019 of that, so has also tasted glory. It's Kirkmeyer and Luca Ludwig. It's Kirkmeyer behind the wheel, this time with the Racing One Ferrari 296, that'll now send it up through towards Eau Rouge and Radion.
What a view this is.
We've had the fortune to stand, haven't we, on top of the buildings. I know that you've loved it, Ewan. I must say, it never gets old for me.
It was like a Cheshire Cat grin for 12 hours that we were here yesterday. Got to see every single site that we could, everywhere that our full access part would get us. We got there, didn't we?
We certainly did. It's Kirkmeyer in response. Personal best in the first sector, but still 1.4, nearly 1.5 off in the initial, but part of the Pro-Am brigade.
And quite a bit of gravel on the track there after that offing just a few moments ago. That will cause ever so slight issues. I mean, if this is your first lap round since that incident happened, gravel on the track, that is going to cost you a bit of a slip if you're not too tight on the steering wheel.
Certainly will. And obviously the more it happens, then obviously it does cause, should we say, issues for certain drivers who are looking to post their fastest runs. Looking at the laps now, currently, we have got a few drivers that have ushered in personal best. Diego Menchaca, who currently sits in 14th. His teammate, Marcos Sibé, remember, fastest in the session before. He's now set at 39.073. Very capable driver, Diego Menchaca, and this is a huge weekend for them, as well as they look to become a race winner here this weekend still. And I tell you what, victory here in the Spa, well, in the Spa 500, it's huge at the end of the day. It's a huge moment in the championship on the GT Open calendar. We saw East-Talent Audi get close to winning it last season. You alluded to that before. Of course, just narrowly losing out to Optimum Motorsport. It just means so much. You can bet your bottom dollar. The likes of your Christopher Haas's and Simon Reichers, the likes of your Michael Greniers and our Faisal Al-Zubair, they're going to want to try and take those top times. And a McLaren 720S returns to the front 2 spaces, because you've got Lewis Proctor and Greystone GT now second on our screens. Yeah, 27-year-old from Aberdeen, Lewis Proctor, silver driver in that duo. Beautiful Greystone GT McLaren 720S GT3 Evo, second in the timing charts with a 2:17.549. Around about half of our cars in the pit right now, and it's been a little while since we saw some purple sectors, George. The track temperature's up to 27 degrees. We are hotting up. Maybe just, obviously, first half of this qualifying, go out, test conditions, bank a lap in there. Second half, let's go again. Pedal down, let's go. Absolutely. Remember, this was the winning manufacturer from last season. It was a McLaren 720S that stood tall in the Spa Endurance last season. Lewis Proctor, another personal best in the first sector. Of course, this P2 lap, only enough to garner him, though, a 2:21.2 in the average lap times, which is certainly going to hurt as far as the averages are concerned, and is going to topple them right down the order, obviously off the back of Stuart Proctor doing the initial session earlier on today. So, you know, this is where this can be painful for certain drivers. Yeah, so we described that. Lewis Proctor in second place right now, but they are they'll be 22nd on the grid as things stand. So please bear that in mind. We'll keep you completely updated. Right now in pole position is going to be the 77 of Grenier and Al-Zubair in the Almanar Racing by Get Speed Mercedes. Second place currently joining on the front row, Nico Menzel in the number 15.
2:15. It was Gustav Bergstrom that set their time earlier. So the average time to be on pole right now, a 2:17.728. The guys on the top, 3 of them have gone quicker than that, but combining your teammate, you've just got to do what you can do.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about, obviously, Mikael Grenier, Alfaisal Zubair, as I said before, both race winners around this circuit, around this round here in this championship over the last couple of seasons. Ollie Webb, though, another British driver, also driving a McLaren GT3 720S, went purple in the first sector. Just as I'm about to get excited about it, he then loses time in sector 2. I'm sorry, Ollie. It wasn't me, I promise. But Oliver Webb initially showing bursts of pace, but I'm sure there's plenty more to come. Still got 14 minutes to go here as we now witness the Porsche of Tijmen van der Helm fly up Kemmel.
So now I'm going to start guessing that over the next few minutes, when everybody's back, still got so many cars in the pits, look, around about half the field in the pits right now, and the track will get busy. Only around about, there's 17 vehicles on track out of 36 in the race this weekend, sorry, 35. I don't think we'll see the car 64, of course, of the Oregon, which has the accident earlier, unfortunately. They may well, if they can make a miracle happen, get on the grid for tomorrow, but it is going to require some new parts. Purple sector, Christopher House, the #1 car, the reigning team champion, the East Talent Racing Audi R8. He sounds like, well, it sounds beautiful, and it sounds like he's going for it, George.
He lost out in the final lap in last season's race, and now looking to take it back. Purple in the first sector, coming through the Lefania chicane, and now a trip down in towards Campus and Stavelot as we ride on board with Christopher Haase. Digs deep into the inside this time, taking some of that curb. Needs to be careful of the runoff as well. Do not dance into the gravel. You just see they're losing a bit of time in that middle sector. It's still a personal improvement, but definitely not Purple. In fact, it's beyond 0.4 of a second as he now ventures through out of Corbeil-Porfrère, and now a trip around Blanchimont. We'll want to try and advance his course. Certainly look to at least improve from 7th fastest at this time, but now making his way around the Blanchimont flat out section here in sector 3 as he now deeps down in towards the bus stop chicane, digs deep with the brakes, now hurtles over the curbs as well. Full aggression here from the Audi Works driver as he now makes his way out to the final corner now to turn 19. It's going to be 3rd fastest. Great lap as well for Christopher Haase, but only enough for 10th place overall.
And Michael Grenier sets a new fastest lap at 2:16.983, our first car to go sub 2:17, and that will put them combined on pole position as well.
And he's not done yet. He's just gone and made another personal improvement in the first sector, a 38.879 for Mikael Grenier, and that's Purple in this instance as well. So the Canadian sensation back again and looking to bring his utmost here this time at Spa. Has not won here since 2019, but his teammate has. His teammate won back in 2021 with Andy Soucek alongside him. Grenier now heading down through towards Pouhon. Fabian Schiller also out on the lap, and he's only 72 thousandths off the fastest first sector.
Yeah, this will be the story for the next 11 minutes and 40 seconds. You're going to see more cars coming out the pits soon. They'll probably try and run out with maybe 3 or 4 laps to go. Of course, you get the out lap, the 2 or 3 flying laps, and see what happens. You might get a situation where the likes of Grenier comes in, sits in the pits and thinks, do you know what? Our overall time is so good, I don't need to wear down my tyres. We can just sit back and relax now. Does often happen in GT and open racing.
Yeah. Found 83 thousandths in sector 1, lost 87 thousandths in the second. Unfortunately, just in behind his personal best in the second sector, but he might yet find something. He's right on the bubble of finding a little bit more, heading through the third sector as he now ushers his way in towards the final chicane. He's still over 1/10 of a second faster than Picciarello in second spot. He's now in the pits, Picciarello, with Haase in 3rd place. Mikael Grenier now looking to advance his charge even more, 2:16.983 to beat. Barely outside of it, 19 thousandths off the top. In comes Fabian Schiller. Surely he'll dance into the top 3. He does, ahead of Christopher Haase now, and nearly, well, around 1/10 and 3/4 away from top spot.
Nico Menzel, 5th position right now, sat in the pits as things stand. They are currently on the front row of the grid with the car 77, of course, Alzabert and Grenier. So that is the front row as things stand. 3rd right now is, Fabian Schiller. That took time, Fabian Schiller and Bartone into 3rd place overall, in fact. 2nd row with the grid for them and 3rd in place right now.
Yeah. Well, there's the view from inside the garages. Everyone watching on tentatively. Such a big weekend. 10 minutes to go now, and this is where we'll see the session ramp up for sure. Fabian Schiller has just put in another personal best, and it's purple in the first sector as well, a 38.801, and this average works out to a 2:17.766. They're currently third in terms of the averages. The fastest time set by Michael Grenier, their average works out at a 2:17.318. So if this is a decent lap from Fabian Schiller, they're not too far out of the potential pole equation, but obviously they still need to dig deep and find a little more heading through sector 2 and sector 3. But the first sector is brilliant. It's just over 1.5 tenths, which I'm sure will make a huge contribution in what could be a stellar lap. But Schiller needs to bring his full experience, his full raw ability, that pace that we have seen time after time here in the International GT Open at the very forefront during GT Open 500 weekend.
That a sensational start to their season, winning the first race in Portimao. Things fell apart a little in Hockenheim with a couple of comings together. Well, let's see, find out how he goes through sector number 2. Oh, he's lost 2 seconds. Yeah. Didn't see that.
Well, no, he didn't really get a view on where he might have lost it. Maybe just backed off slightly. Maybe looking ahead to perhaps plan for another run, but 2 seconds is quite a lot of time lost. Maybe backed out, maybe made a mistake and then backed out. We'll have to wait and see. But heading down in towards the final bus stop chicane, see whether he ends up coming into the pits for one last time, maybe for a tyre change, who knows. Let's wait and see. Coming through, yes, he is coming into the pits. So Fabian Schiller coming in for maybe a revision session. Haas are in the pits as well as Menzel comes in, Grenier comes in, Lismont goes 5th fastest, so a change straight away as Lismont now puts himself on the front row with the averages working out to a 2:17.429, so not a bad visit from Matisse Lismont.
So that's one of our 3 new entrants for this round. The Come To You racing car number 21, handing over as Lequeta earlier on this morning. So that time of Lismont currently puts them 2nd overall. That is a wild jump up to the top. On the front row of the grid as things stand now. As you can see again, loads of cars in the pits. They'll be, if they're going to come in now, they're going to go in for one last time, maybe change your tyres, change your tacks, a quick word with the team. They'll go back out one more time, and they'll maybe get 3 flying laps in.
Yeah, they will do. I will say this, Philip Salicata putting together a 39.313, which isn't too far out the way from Michael Grenier's first sector on his previous best lap. Oh no, there is the I believe that's the Get Speed 786 belonging to both Kiki Satnana and Adam Osaka. Kiki Satnana not at the wheel of this one. It is Adam Osaka, the team boss of the Get Speed team, and that's not an ideal line there, Mr. Osaka. And will venture back out onto the circuit. No concerns though, he's not stuck, which is a relief. The track conditions will still, well, they will not be under full course yellow, put it that way, which is good to see. Yannick Mettler, though, out on a lap, representing the SPS Performance team, CBRX outfit, as they head down in towards turn 1 at Le Source. Someone who you definitely expect to see towards the front end of the field. Currently 15th fastest. On the last lap, put together his personal best as well as a personal best in the 3rd sector, but needs to find a little extra in order to advance their charge, because they're currently outside the top 10, and definitely outside the top 10 if you consider averages.
Now that Come To You racing car. Oh, another goes off.
ISR Audi. That's Philip Salicata, I think, who's just made his way through towards the very far section leading out of sector 2, and unfortunately has spun his Audi. And that's the R8 LMS that he's now got to self-right, reposition. Needs to be cautious, though, because it's quite a far section coming through there, and it's yellow flags raised as you'd expect at turn 15, because they go flat out through this portion of track, so he's got to be wary when he rejoins. He hasn't got great visibility there. Let's take a look at this again.
Lost the back end before the corner, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, coming through Corbeil-Paul Frere, and on the escape, just dipping into the gravel. Just you can see the swapper coming through in towards the latter sector.
And it's as if he's tried to get that going again and spin it around, but then got stuck on the grass somehow too. So maybe some mechanical issues. I think the yellow flag has been lifted, so I think we're okay to go. Ooh,
oh, wow.
That's a bit of smoke.
Yeah, a little bit. Maybe just needs cooling. I'm not quite sure. Fry an egg on that. Yeah, that is Aaron Walker's Mercedes AMG GT3, and we saw Valentin Pierberg was in the car during the last session, and unfortunately weren't able to extract too much out of it, and it doesn't look like they're going to be extracting much else apart from a lot of smoke.
Just something to point out, that Lismont in the Come To You Racing car number 21, that is the debut for the new Vantage GT3. How great is it to have another Aston Martin on the grid, and it's looking absolutely sensational. If you do happen to be down here tomorrow in the paddock, do go and have a look at that Aston Martin Vantage. It is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And doing well. 6th right now, and they are currently still retaining their front row grid position right now. There it is.
Well,
beautiful.
And look at what Lismont's just done. He's gone purple in that first sector as well, so he's found 74 thousandths on top of Michael Grenier's time. Now, what I do want to say about Lismont and his time that he had set originally, the 2:17.429, enough for second fastest overall on the averages. So if he goes faster than Grenier, that will place him surely in with a chance at maybe taking overall pole, but has lost time in the second sector. God, these commentators' curses are really starting to get to me.
You're getting excited then.
Stop it, Matisse, stop it.
I could watch that Aston all day, though. That is an absolute beauty, isn't
Glorious looking car. I mean, fantastic to look at. Look, Alex Fontana's just gone purple this time. I'm saying nothing, Alex. I'm saying nothing.
But again, still purple sectors. This is the hottest the track has been so far today. Air temperature getting up to about 17. That's where we're going to spend the day now, about 17 degrees. So absolutely ideal conditions. We still only got one car gone to sub 217, and that's Grenier, and they're on pole right now, leading the standings as we are. Not many more chances, 2 more flying laps at best for these absolute monsters. Here's a replay of the 51. That is the Spirit of Racing Ferrari 296. A couple of feet on the gravel and just leaving some dirt for those behind to clean up as well.
Yeah, Nicola Marinangeli behind the wheel of that car. Of course, you saw Vincent Abril driving the car earlier on. Purple second sector, though, for one Nico Menzel. So we'll wait and see what that delivers. They're currently 4th, second row in terms of the averages right now. Alex Fontana also improving. So we have got 2 drivers that have taken purple sectors in their own laps, and Nico Menzel's gone fastest and has now managed to place his car on the front row, second with the averages, went purple in the second and third sectors. Alex Fontana now looking to try and usher in a decent lap of his own as we now see them head through the final stages now. Alex Fontana only enough for 5th fastest, but Menzel's time places him right front and centre with Michael Grenier, who still holds on to pole spot.
So as it happens right now, the top 2 in this qualifying are the top 2 in the standings overall. However, flip reverse, Grenier would be on pole and Menzel would be starting in the front row with him in second place.
Certainly will. There is Nico Menzel. After putting on pole, great lap, it has to be said, 2:16.834. We haven't seen many of those lately. Oh, and hold the phone. Menzel might have gone faster, so has Christopher Haase. So it's not over yet, folks. The East Talent Audi also digging deep with a 38.561 in the first sector, and Haase very nearly half a second quicker.
That is monstrous, half a second. We've been counting hundreds and tenths for the last half an hour.
There he is.
He's absolutely flown out through sector 1. Can he keep this up? He's got a little bit of traffic in front. It should be far enough ahead that he doesn't catch it. Christopher Haase in the number 1, the current team champions, the East Talent
Racing. He's flashing. He's saying, get out of the way, he's saying. Oh, this is a lap, I need to finish it. He's purple in the first sector.
I'm on a quick one, go!
Oh, yes, let me through, he's saying. This one needs to be brought in. He's done, he's managed to surpass 4.5 tenths in the first sector, and now looking to dig deep for a potential purple lap here this time around. He's got 2 sectors to get through, now bursting through Corbet Paul Frere. The Audi R8 LMS has managed to once again hit purple. He's lost a little bit of time, but is still the fastest lap and will bring him to the top ahead of Nico Menzel, who still leads the way in the Porsche. Michael Grenier second on this timing tower, but first in terms of the averages. Christopher Haase, certainly this won't be a lap that necessarily upsets the balance of the average order, certainly up at the top, and in terms of this listing, as Picciarello goes fastest overall so far, but he's got traffic as Haase. This is going to be a problem, heading up towards the line, needs to try and dig deep. Will he manage to get a fastest lap here on the board? He certainly will, a 2:16.263. Now, it may not be average pole, but it's a great lap. Christopher Haase, first fastest here with 28 seconds to go.
By half a full second, Christopher Haase. That Audi R8 showing everything it's got on that lap. 2 purple sectors and a personal best in the middle. That is absolute precision.
Well, while obviously it doesn't affect what happens in terms of pole, it drags his team up to 13th now on the grid, which is everything in terms of the race. Bear in mind it's an endurance as well, so it's going to be that much longer. The fact that they're starting further up makes their job so much easier here at the end of the day. It's not all about getting pole in some cases. If you've had a bad or a rough Q1 session, and there's a chance to recover at least something in Q2, then you've got to. And that's exactly what Haase did there, Ewan.
And let's not forget the all-important double points tomorrow for one race. So let alone just finishing high up, it's going to do absolutely massive amounts for your championship standing. As things stand right now, it is still the 77 of Alzabert and Grenier who will be on pole position. And we are just the last few cars coming over. The checkered flag has been waved. And Nico Menzel in the 15 currently on the front row with them, alongside, of course, Gustav Bergström.
Yeah, there's the Oregon 19 of Marzio Moretti, 9th fastest, and has taken the checkered flag as well. At least some solace for Team Oregon. He is still up in the top 10, a great chance to fight as well, so do not write them off. Fabian Schiller still out on track, 5th in this moment in time, has managed to pull together a personal best though in the second sector with a 62.675. So let's see what he can bring to the table, because he's currently 7th in terms of the averages. I mean, if he gets himself higher after a big third sector, this could make a huge difference come the end of this lap. So let's wait and see. Obviously heading down in towards bus stop. Remember Anthony Bartone also partnering him in the car. They had success back at Portimao, which I'm sure was much to the delight of Anthony Bartone, who brought the car home in great style. Here comes Schiller. Can he improve? He certainly can. 3rd fastest, and places himself in 5th on the overall grid.
So he's just moved his team up 2 grid positions, 1 row. They were in 7th, now in 5th, so 3rd row. And as a team combined, they'll be absolutely thrilled, I'm sure. But
Diego Menchaca has managed to put his team on pole position with the averages. So remember, it was Marcos Seibert who managed to cross the line earlier on to go fastest in Q1. Now, because of the averages again, while Diego Menchaca just qualified, brought his car over the line right at the death to go 12th quickest, he has taken the fastest average time, a 2:17.212, to rip it from Grenier's clutches.
And that is all the excitement of combined qualifying racing. He's done it by 0.08 of a second with pretty much the last lap of any car on track. Diego Menchaca in the car number 17, the Motorpark Mercedes AMG GT, alongside Marco Seibert. They will be on pole tomorrow for the GT Open 500.
Yeah, well, this is the final order after qualifying 2. Obviously, these aren't the results that factor in the averages. Christopher Haase fastest in the session, Alessio Picciarello in 2nd, Fabian Schiller in 3rd, Nico Menzel in 4th, Michael Grenier in 5th, Alex Fontana in 6th, Oliver Webb in 7th, Matisse Lismont in 8th place, Marzio Moretti in 9th, Lewis Proctor finishing in 10th, Lucas Dunner in 11th, Diego Menchaca, a late lap, but necessary. Fastest overall in terms of the averages, but 12th fastest here in the session. Yannick Mettler in 13th, Conrad Grunwald in 14th, Brendan Leach then further down as well. Let's take you through the rest of the order. Thomas Aikin, Nicola Marinangeli, Philip Salicada, Mikael Pitamba, Tymon van der Helm. We then have Giorgio Senegiotto, Jim Pla, Alessio Deleda, Jamie Stanley, Aaron Walker, Adamo Seika, Marcin Jedlinski, Dimitri Guvazava, and then Alan Coder, Timo Rempkarl, Prince Jeffrey Ibrahim, Ernest Kirkmeyer, Marco Polcini, Gino Forgione, Stanislav Jedlinski, and Leonardo Polcini. And this is how the combined results look, folks. That late lap from Diego Menchaca puts them on pole position for the race tomorrow. Alphonse Lazubert, Michael Grenier starting on the front row in 2nd. We then have Bergström and Menzel in 3rd, Lismont and Lassatua in 4th, with Moretti Petrov in 5th, Bartone and Schiller in 6th, Marinangeli and Abril in 7th, Baumann and Pitamba in 8th, Dunner and Flusha in 9th place, Deleda and Pepper starting in P10. 11th place for Jedlinski and Bash, Ontarizao and Picciarello in 12th. We then have Simon Reich and Christopher Haase in 13th, Jeffrey Ibrahim and Love in 14th, Noah Stromstead and Aikin in 15th, Mardini and Van der Helm in 16th, Salicada, Milotta, Blanchimont and Pla, Peterberg and Walker, Kirkmeyer and Ludwig further down in that order as well. Polcini and Chiva 21st. The rest of the order, of course, will be filtered out. But an incredible fight. What a moment and a great effort as well. Right at the death, Diego Menchaca dug deep. He found success. They're on pole tomorrow.
I knew it would be good. I didn't think it would be that good. I mean, how many times did we say, this one's on pole, no, this car's on pole, no, this team's on pole? And even when we were just discussing the order, it changes on our screen right here to our right-hand side. Once again, different pole sitter. Cannot wait until tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. And we will be hearing now from Marco Seibert and Diego Menchaca.
And we have the pair that will be in pole position tomorrow for the GT Open 500. Marco Seibert, Diego Menchaca. You are not very sure, Diego.
I mean, it's all down to him and the team. The job they did in Quali 1, we did in Quali 1. Andy and the team did a fantastic job. To be honest, this run was really difficult for me. I went for prioritizing the race. I only did one set, and we were a bit off balance. For sure, if we had another set, we could have improved quite a bit, but it was hairy for a moment because my lap got taken by track limits, got a bit of traffic too. It is what it is, and honestly today the man of the hour is this guy that did an incredible job.
Good, so let's talk with the man of the day, Marcos. How was it this morning with P1?
No, for sure we are a team, we work together quite a lot for that, and yeah, as he said, we are super happy. Team did a mega job in the morning, especially for me. The car was perfect. I did a really good lap. Diego put everything together now in the afternoon also. We bring the merch to the first road, so we are more than happy.
And tomorrow is the one to win because it's more points and you are leading.
Yeah, I mean, it's a race that it's the one that Quali means the least, and we have the handicap in the last stop, so we really prioritize the race with the strategy, and I hope it works out, but anything can happen, you know, the level is extremely hard now with the new entries as well, great drivers, so step by step.
Time to push. Let's see you tomorrow, guys.
Well done.
Well, fabulous result for Team Motor Park. Let's find out how they get on tomorrow. Join us for the GT Open 500 here at Spa tomorrow. Thank you.